Hey guys, Ryan said, Lake St. Clair Fishing Guide. So doing a series of videos helping people get accustomed to the Great Lakes. If you're taking your boat out there, maybe you're coming from out of state, you're gonna fish with us at Marcel's Guide Service for a day, then use your own boat out there for a couple of days, or maybe you're local to the area and you just haven't fished on the Great Lakes before. In this video, what I'd like to do is talk about some basic boat rigging, just some things that will make your experience out there more pleasant. You wanna spend your time out there fishing, right? Not getting broke down, not having graphs break and things like that. So I just want to go through some basic things that I do at the beginning of the year and then maybe once or twice throughout the year, just to make sure that I'm not going to have any technical difficulties out on the water. All right, so starting from the back of the boat, the biggest thing you want to take care of in the back of the boat is just to make sure that everything is tight. If you have a jack plate, make sure the jack plate to the boat is tight. And then of course, make sure the engine to the jack plate is tight. So you're talking probably 8 bolts or so there. Make sure everything is tight. You don't want to pop a jack plate bolt out there. It's a pain in the butt to fix them. I'm speaking from personal experience. The second thing is if you have power poles, make sure that these things are tight. You don't want them flopping in the breeze out there. There's a lot of bolts on these power poles, or if you have talons. Make sure they're tight. Again, the Great Lakes are going to test your equipment. The best thing you can do is make sure everything's tight. And then the other thing that you can do is Michigan roads are notoriously bad. Make sure you have a very good Transom Saver. If you have an old junky one, replace that. Michigan roads will beat those things up. So in the back of the boat, it's just about making sure everything is good and tight so that you don't have any issues out there on the water. So here at the council, guys, a couple things to think about. First is your depth finder mounts. Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, they love to eat these things alive. So if you have just kind of an old depth finder mount, or maybe one that's not, a little bit undersized for what you want, you're going to want to upgrade that. Make sure that you have support systems for it. My old boat, I used to have one sitting here, and you can buy little cushions so that you can lean them down when you're driving in the big waves. Again, they love to eat up these depth finder mounts. So make sure they're good and secure, and just like the back of the boat, make sure everything's tight before you come up here. The other thing is you want to make sure your kill switch is ready to go. Safety is the utmost concern up here. We have accidents every year, unfortunately, on various kinds of boats. So make sure that your kill switch is ready to go, that you're wearing your life jacket out there. And I guess then one third thing is make sure all your gauges are working as well, your gauges and your trim features. You're gonna need this trim for driving out there. We'll do a separate video about how to kind of drive in some of the bigger waves, but make sure that all your trim features are working real good, and your bilge pump. So that's what you wanna take care of here at the council. All right, guys, so lastly, here up at the front, this is generally where things go wrong the most up on the Great Lakes. Most people know to tighten their jack plate bolts, make sure their depth finders are secure back at the council. But sometimes, for some reason, this stuff gets overlooked up here. I'm a big fan of ram mounts whenever I can. You can see I've got one that holds my trolling motor down here. I've got one that holds my Humminbird 360 right here. You want a strap for your trolling motor as well. You got to have that. You don't want this thing flopping around in those big waves. You want to make sure that it's all bolted securely to the deck there. I've even got a ram mount for my depth finder there as well. I like the ram mounts because they absorb the energy. There's a lot of really good different kinds of mounts out there. Some of them are very strong and very secure. The problem with that is, though, when you hit a wave, all that energy has to go somewhere. That's engineering year one. That energy has to go somewhere. If you've got a ram mount, the ball can absorb some of that energy, and that's less energy going into the unit and possibly damaging it, possibly breaking other things. So I like to use ram mounts, but the biggest thing is to make sure that things are secure. You do not want things flopping around. You can see from my trolling motor, I've got 1, 2, 3 different things. Plus I actually use a foam noodle in here to secure it even more, just to give it a little extra cushion. So if you can think of a way to keep your things more secure, do that. Otherwise, the Great Lakes will take advantage of that, and you'll spend more time working on your equipment than you will actually fishing, and none of us want that. So those are just some basic rigging tips from front of the boat to back of the boat, hopefully to help you have a more enjoyable time out there. The last thing I would like to tell you, this is worth the investment. These inflatable life jackets are great. You want to be safe out there. You don't want to have to be wearing a bulky life jacket if it's out there and it's windy. I really recommend getting one of these things. It's easy to hook up your kill switch to it, like we talked about. Really recommend an investment in one of these. It will save you a lot of time, and they're very comfortable to fish in on top of that. So hopefully those will all help you out. Have a good time out there fishing and less time working on your equipment.